This is the problem in the real world of the professional masturbator. You are in control of the scenario. You're in control of your fantasized potency, erectile potency, mental potency, physical potency, and you're also in control in your mind's eye of that woman's acceptance of you and confirmation. And of course, you're creating the perfect confirmation, the perfect physical acceptance, the perfect hot genital strivings, urgency, tension builds up, foreplay, script, scenario. It's a total show. It's a total divorce from any reality whatsoever. Because everything is a creation. You created everything. It's an artwork. It's a personal artwork. And the problem is, in order for it to be effective, it has to be so realistically created. You have to fool your mind. Fantasy must then become complete and total reality. Not just a possibility, not just a promissory note on the future, but a happening right here and now with all the infinite potency of a God. You're identifying with your porny stars or your fantasies about them. You're identifying with performances, all show business. And not realizing that there has to be an immediate overseeing by hard, cold, judgmental reality resistance. You might want to call it the superego, or however you want to describe it. It's the agony that attaches itself, or must attach itself, to the pure Shangri-La, security, privacy, perfection of the masturbation fantasy. Pleasure, pain. Ultimate pleasure, ultimate pain. But they have to go together. To separate them is to create a dangerous situation. The reality has to have the power to transmute and sublimate the hot genital striving urgencies, and has to have the power to look in the mirror and say to the man who's looking in the mirror, take me for example, I would say to myself, look in the mirror. Put yourself in the mind of a woman. Socially, are we socially, visually an item? If the answer is no, the heights don't match up. The phenotype, the continents, the temperaments don't match up. Phenotype meaning your body behavior in social action under pressure, resistance, confrontation, and encounter in the arena, the happening in the now. That doesn't add up. The legal aspects, they don't add up. The social situation, it's not supportive. He's got to pay attention to how the quality of how that woman's accepting him before he even does any fantasizing. Now, that's a paradox, because if he doesn't fantasize, of course, he's going to lose the sexual energy. That is the original attracting force, the physical aspects, the visual, the chemistry, however you want to call it. That's a paradox. Now his more attractive adversary, who's taller, better looking, stronger, more virile, etc., on and on, visually, intuitively, inspirationally. He doesn't know how to inspire the woman to give him, by choice, the physical things he wants, the social confirmations. Then he's got to go about it the long, hard road, arduous, tenuous, with the possibility of that woman reneging, changing her mind. He has to realize no means no. Anyway, it's said, doesn't matter if once it was yes, now it's no. And no doesn't require an explanation or a justification or a humanity behind it. That's why I said the myth that women are nurturing, compassionate, and will give a man in a pinch a mercy piece of ass. Biggest lie ever been told. It's competitive as hell out there, and there's usually a tremendous imbalance between men and women anywhere you go. Here come a sex party, allegedly. It's advertised as such. Come to find out, maybe 20 horny men turn out, and maybe there's 3 or 4 women, 1 or 2 of which is escorted, and 1 may be swinging, the other one may be a looky-loo, and you got 20 horny dude swinging dicks, however you want to label it, so you get the message, so you get the image of what I'm talking about. And you're sitting there waiting all night to swing, all night for something to happen. And you're actually falling asleep. This happened to me on many occasions. You go to a so-called swinging party, poor man's swinging party. An hour goes by, 2 hours go by, 3 hours go by. There are, of course, cross-dressers there, transvesti, homosexuals, of course. And you got frigid women who show up, they're just showing up as looky-loo. You got some of them that are escorted. You got a very rough scenario. And even vicarious pretense, participation, you have to hunt it down. But it's advertised. Great party! Everybody swings and has a good time. But remember, the advertisement is a lure. It's a lure. There's always disclaimers. Sell the sizzle. And if the man fails, you blame him. Buddy, you have a bad attitude. You don't know how to approach a woman socially. You don't know how to inspire the woman to swing with you. You don't have the experience. Don't blame us. You paid for the potential. And you thought it was reality. You thought it would happen magically. You bought the name, you bought the title, sex party, and you wanted what the title implied, just like the sexual revolution. You thought you could participate. You thought it was a free ticket to ride. And you found out it went a lot further in words, in speeches, in show, than it did in reality, unless you were a cool guy. But you don't need no sexual revolution. Cool guy will score anytime, any place, anywhere. He's the rules because of the way he looks and acts and behaves in the gamesmanship. Cool guy knows what women to approach, how to approach it, what to say, what to do, when to do it. He has the confidence, he has the experience to do it. He knows how to put out the vibes. That's the kibosh, the magic. That's what makes it happen. That's the chemistry. That's the stimulus. That's the inspiration. And short, small man like myself, the pariah, the ridiculous-looking man, Humpty Dumpty, he attempts to imitate cool guy, dress like cool guy, behave like cool guy, he watches. Then he goes to his talisman, special clothes. I call it his magic charm, his magic wand. He believes in magic. He believes in inclusiveness, but what does he find out there? You take the Singers Club in New York. Mama's Singing is a singing club on 46th and 9th, I think, and near Hell's Kitchen in Manhattan. And you go down there, and that's where all these Broadway performers come to sing or unwind. Very expensive because they're always hustling for tips. After every song, the hat is passed around. And I think there's a cover to get in addition to that. Anyway, on a certain night, an amateur can get up and sing with these professional Broadway performers. And of course you're lulled into a false sense of confidence. As you know, I'm your stranger. I'm your singing YouTube stranger. And you get up and sing. That's as far as it's going to go. When you leave that singing store, the professionals, Broadway performer, they click out. Unless you're a pretty boy. They click out. They form a shield against someone like me in nothing other than sterile conversation, distancing conversation, dismissive conversation. He can't break through the click. Then you leave that singing store at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, whatever it is in the morning, and you're walking back to Central Park. Maybe you'll stop in at Christini's, and for $5, then probably much more now, you got yourself one banana, one apple, one orange, $5. You made your way to the park bench, right near Trump Tower, and that's where you're going to spend the night. That bench is hard, my friend. It's cold. That bench is hard. And you're going to spend the night. And you're trying to move in every different direction to get away from the blast of the hawk. The hawk's blowing hard this night. It's cold. And you just came from the singing store where you saw the Broadway performers clicked out. And you couldn't break in and be confirmed. Do you hear what I'm telling you? You see the women there, but they stick with their own. They're not going to confirm a little short man like me. You got to understand that. Now, when you go into your... Now, here's what I'm talking about. You try masturbating on a cold evening on that park bench, Central Park. Cold! And you've got to come up with the powerful, powerful fantasies that can warm the night. Then there's a problem because you can't lie to the hawk. The hawk's blowing and it keeps changing the directions. The cold is starting to go through the bone. And you're thinking past that with your masturbation fantasy. But the reality is hitting hard. And you get the picture. This is the reality. The hawk has to be sitting on your shoulder when you masturbate to control and keep telling you, this is Alice in Wonderland. You are never going to find the woman that will fit your pure masturbation fantasy dream. You can move things around. You can move pictures around in your mind. You can change the script as often as you want. You're the hero of the script. You're the infinitely potent, virile, powerful stud. Perfect stud with perfect physical reactions, sexually physical reactions. That don't matter. Because the hawk is chilling your body down and blowing on you. Tell it to the hawk.